Tyler said he figured it out. Give him a minute. So we're getting closer. Joey, did you get the comment thing figured
out? Yeah, I think so.
Tyler also said we might be live. Be careful. Oh, we're live. Yeah, we are. Bring us in, Joey. We are definitely live, brother.
Sitters, what's good? It's Joey Hedge along with Chris Martinez.
What's happening?
Hey, and Jaco.
What's up?
We are front porch sitting. Guys, what's going on?
I'll let you go first, Jaco.
Oh, just living the dream, out here in Dixie County, just living it up over here in North Florida. Love it. Better talk some ball to you boys.
I'm doing well. Sitters, it might look a little different tonight. Well, it does look a little different tonight. Tyler is being too kind. He is on his family vacation, and he is helping us out by, facilitating the situation that we have currently. So bear with us. It's going to be good, as usual. We got a lot to talk about. But it will look a little different this evening.
Yeah, it will, but it's going to be fun. We're going to have a good time like we always do. A lot like Chris said, a lot to talk about, a lot of stuff going on in the college football world. And that's going to be the meat and potatoes of this here show. So pretty excited about it.
Yeah, Joe, before we get into that, would you please let the sitters know what makes this possible?
Of course, the wonderful people at JW Weaponry. They're as good as it gets. They're always loaded. Premier gun store of the South. So go give those fine people a call or hang out with them. If you call them, it's going to be 386-243-8587. Or like I said, just go by, hang out. Man, it doesn't get much better. Doesn't get much better than JW Weaponry. They're as good as it gets. So go give them a call. Go hang out with them. Get some Christmas stuff. They got layaway programs. So make it happen.
Most certainly. Joey, let's just go ahead and jump into it. There's no need to wait around too much on this. I don't know where you want to begin. You want to begin on the pick'ems?
Yeah, we got a couple of comments in the chat. Are you on the chat at all?
I mean, yeah, I am.
Okay. Chad said this is odd. I agree. Waylon said, "Sup, guys?" Clayton Steinrich said, "Absurd setup, but I like it." Broncos the hottest team in the NFL? Question mark. Mm-hmm. They may be. Cameron Cooley, real question: who had the better regular season catch, Keon, Ricky, or Benton? I'm partial. I'm going to go Benton there.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Don't even know that kid.
Trey said, "Good evening, gentlemen." Hello. All right. Yeah, let's go. Let's go to the pick'em. Chris, you took the lead on me overall. There we go.
Let's go.
Yeah, you took the lead on me overall. Can y'all see me right? Yeah, I can see me on the thing right here. I'm good. I'm gonna put this down so I don't have to continue to hold it. Yeah, you took the lead. You're now 27-15. I am 25-17, and Tyler is chilling still at 500. He is 21-21. So yeah, we I went 1-3 last week. You went 3-1, and Tyler went 2-2. So I think we're just gonna go with all 5 games this week. Is that how we're gonna do it?
Yeah, all Power Five.
All Power 5 games. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and jump in. First one, we're going to go FSU last. So first one, let's go Iowa and Michigan. Michigan is 22.5-point favorites. I'm going to let you go first.
Me? All right, I'll go first.
Yeah, you're in the lead. You got to go.
All right. I would I'm going to go Iowa and the points. Give me Iowa Hawkeyes and the points.
Jaco?
He is correct. Iowa Hawkeyes with the points. Just some facts here. Iowa has the 127th ranked passing offense, 102nd ranked passing, or 102nd ranked rushing offense. 121st in the nation in points per game. Iowa might not score 3 points, fellas. Michigan's pass defense 4th nationally, run defense 6th. So they're up against it. It could be a 23-3 game or something like that. So yeah, Iowa with the points. That's where the money is.
I agree.
Yeah, I just stated that's why I'm going Michigan. I'm going to go Michigan. I just don't think when it starts snowballing, and it's going to snowball for them, I don't think Michigan can or I don't think Iowa can stop the snowball. So I'm going to go Michigan and lay the 22.5. God, that's a lot of points.
Lots.
Especially
All
with
right,
the pace, especially with the pace that Iowa plays.
Right, that you're not wrong. Clayton said Iowa over under first half points is 0.5. I got to tell you, I may take the under.
Oh yeah.
Under. I don't know that they score in the first half. Let's go Oregon and Washington. Washington is 9.5 as the 4th seeded playoff team. 9.5. Oof. I guess I got to go this one, don't I?
Yeah, you do.
I think Oregon wins by 8. So Washington plus 9.5.
Well, Jacob to go?
Yeah, we can go ahead, Jacob.
Yeah, 8 is the number right there. That's what my matrix says. I like Washington with the points right there, laying 9.5. I don't know if they're going to win, but I don't think they're losing by no 9.5 points. So give me Washington with the points right there. I think that's where my money's at.
I think those are good picks. Joey, how many games up am I on you?
2.
Strategic play here. I think the better team is Oregon. I think they controlled the game last year or the first time they played. I think Penix may be injured. I don't think he's been 100%. The number 2 receiver seemed to walk around in a boot in Washington. So I truly do think Oregon will win. I do think 9.5 might be too much. If I was losing in the overall total, I would take Oregon because I feel comfortable in that. But being that I have a lead, I don't want to lose a game here. So I'm going to also go Washington with you guys.
Yeah, I saw that coming from a mile away. Tyler says Michigan and the Ducks. And then Blaze said FSU needs a Washington win, in his opinion. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, though. Let's go Oklahoma State and Texas. Texas is 15-point favorites. Jacob, you want to go first on that one?
Yeah, Texas with the points right there is where I'm going. They're just superior in all aspects. Oklahoma State's just been getting lucky on a lot of stuff. Yeah, getting blowed out by Central Florida. Give me Texas. I take Texas probably by 20.5 if they had it. Alternate line, take them. Horns.
I love it. I love a good alternate line. Joey, I think that means I'm up here.
Yep.
Go ahead and I'm with Jaco. I think Oklahoma State runs the ball okay. The problem with that is Texas might have one of the better rushing defenses in the country, especially on the defensive line. I think that'll give Oklahoma State fits. And like you alluded to earlier, Joey, when you said it may snowball for Iowa when they play Michigan, I think it could get out of hand with Texas. So I think that's a lot of points. However, I think I am also on Texas. I think I'm also go the Horns here.
Yeah, if Ollie Gordon gets going, he's one of the more fun backs to watch in the country. I don't know that he gets going against Texas. I think Texas is really, really good. One of the best 4 teams in the country, in my opinion. Again, we'll talk about that here in a little bit as well. But because I have to make up a game, I'm gonna go Oklahoma State. I don't believe it. Just so we're clear, I don't believe Oklahoma State at all. But just to make up a game, I'm gonna do it. I like Trey's idea. He's a smart guy. Bama and Georgia, what could be the best game of the whole weekend. I guess it's my turn to go first, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, I think 5.5 is the line on this one. I just think that's too many for Bama right now. I think Bama's pretty hot. I know they played really bad against Auburn. But I'm going to take Bama in the point because I want points in this game.
We'll let Jacob go next, and I'll bring up the rear here.
All right.
Yeah, I like Bama with the points. Could be Bama just straight up. I think Bama very well could win that game. I wouldn't be a bit surprised, but I'm going to go with Bama with the points in my parlay.
Oh,
I like it. Georgia has not beat Alabama in Atlanta in like 81 years. It's true.
Well, if it was 80, yeah, we weren't here to see it.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Golly, I think Bama's hot, man. I think Bama's real hot right now. I don't want to lose the game. I think Georgia covers, to be honest with you. But my pick. This is why Trey's idea of recording it earlier is important. Yeah. So that way I couldn't do things like I'm about to do, and he is right. I truly would pick Georgia to cover, even though they haven't been great against the spread this year. Bama has struggled against Tennessee. They were losing in the first half. It took a 4th and 31 against Auburn, a not very good Auburn, who ran out their own stadium not long ago, where they paid somebody damn near $1 million to play them. So I think Alabama is Jekyll and Hyde, but I do think you can count on Saban to get them to show up. I still don't think it's enough. I think Georgia will win the game and cover. However, I'm going to officially place my pick on Bama just because I'm not going to lose a game and I don't have to go first. So put me down for Bama. I do not believe that.
I got you. I got you.
Hey man, you played to win the game. You played to win the game.
Speaking of that guy, let's talk about Herm Edwards for 1 second before we continue on with this. Do you realize that he had Jaden Daniels, Johnny Wilson, Ricky Pearsall, and Rashad White all in the same offensive lineup, and they couldn't win football games? Yeah,
that's wild.
Think about that. You have a starting NFL running back, a 6'7" Johnny Wilson, who's pretty darn good. Ricky Pearsall also. That's not what I meant. And Jaden Daniels. How do you not win with that lineup? That is unbelievable.
It really is. It really is. Keep driving, Joey. You're doing it. Joey, you're doing an exceptional job. This is really difficult not to talk over each other. So I'd like to all give us a pat on the back right now. Joey, just keep driving it, and we'll keep following your lead.
Where do we want to go next? Do we want to go to FSU Louisville now, or do we want to wait and kind of preview that game after we talk about Florida State?
We can do it right now.
All right. I'm going to let you go first then, sir.
Well, you know where I'm going. Give me the Cards.
2.5 points?
Is that the number?
Yeah, Louisville's plus 2.5.
Yeah, I'll take the points with the Cards.
Okay. Jacob?
I'm going. I hate to do this, but I do think FSU is going to win that game.
Yeah, I've heard some stuff that I don't love about what's going on at FSU right now. I don't think that I don't know for sure that Tate Rodemaker's playing. A little scary.
Well, I may go Florida State then. If he ain't behind center, buddy, I might go Florida State.
Just telling you, rumor mill has it that he's not incredibly healthy right now.
I'm gonna stick with my pick with the Cards, but that does change things.
Yeah, I'm with Jaco. I'm going Florida State as well. I just turn around, Trey Benson the ball. It ain't that hard.
That's what I'm saying.
It ain't that hard. Give me Trey Benson. We'll ride this thing out. Oh man, Chris,
it's just Louisville.
Yes,
Just Louisville.
it's just Louisville. You know what I mean? It's just Louisville.
Damn second best team in Kentucky.
They proved that last week, didn't they?
Yeah. What are we riding horses?
Let's talk about Florida State, and then we'll kind of dive into. We got a lot of stuff going tonight. We got Florida State, obviously review, and then just kind of where Florida is as a program right now, which we could probably talk about for a couple hours if we really wanted to. And then obviously the college football playoff is a big story right now, and then the possible scenario that can go into that. Chris, where do you want to start with Florida State?
Before we get to it, Joey, I'd like to talk about Bryan Sports. I think it's the premier sports store in the South. I actually have a customer testimonial that I'd like to read that somebody unsolicited put on Facebook about our fine sponsor, Joey. I don't know if you had a chance to see that. You did?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to read that. Yeah, if I can find it. Kelsey sent it to me. Kelsey sent it to me in the text message, so I got to go back a little ways here because she tends to text a bit. All right, so I'm going to leave the person the name. Well, I guess I can say their name, right? They won't mind.
Nope.
All right. Josie Gaskins says, what I love about small businesses. I called and I said, I know you close at 5:30 and it's 5:28, but I'm headed to buy my son a hoodie so he doesn't freeze tomorrow. No worries what size and we will wait on you. Don't rush. Bryan Sports is top notch. No big box store will wait. Shop small business, they truly care. So Bryan stayed open, or they stayed open, so that way they could get the right size hoodie for their kid. They had it waiting on them, ready to go. They can check them out. They didn't have to wait around. And she's right. That's just something that they do all the time. But I'm glad they actually get recognized on Facebook or any other media platform for that matter, because I mean, that's just them. That's who they are. So not only did they wait, kept the doors open for them, but they made sure it was ready at the counter when they got there.
Yeah. So I saw that, and then I looked at the shares from that one. There's like 14 or 15 shares of other people saying the same exact things. And then the comments in each of those shares, I read a lot about it because I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the Bryan getting the love that he deserves because, he's just an incredible human being and a really good store owner because he does go above and beyond. And so, yeah, I was happy to see that. I'm glad you read that for us, Chris. If you do need to call him, tell him to stay 3 minutes late. Call him at 755-0570, and I promise he'll do everything he can to help you out. If you mention Front Porch Sitting, you get 10% off. It's always a plus. Hey, also, real quick, there's a I don't remember exactly what kind of raffle it is, but I know he's doing a raffle for JJ Spradley. So if you go up, I think it's for a gift card for Bryan Sports. So if you go up to Bryan Sports, I think that each raffle ticket is like $5. So if you go up to Bryan Sports, give them $5 or how many ever dollars you want to give them, give you a raffle ticket for a chance to win a Bryan gift card. So yeah, JJ tragically passed away this past week unexpectedly, and so they're doing some fundraising, if you will, for the family. So go and purchase a raffle ticket or a raffle ticket up at Bryan Sports. There we go.
All right. You said you had a question for me, I believe. But before you get to your question, I'll read some of these comments in here. That bottle's really loud, too, by the way, just so you know. My dad said, Bama with Linda. Huh?
You say the bottle's really loud?
Yeah, it's a little noisy.
My bad.
My dad's coming at me, Bama with Milrow, really. But I think Milrow, if he gets to do it, be effective. Zach Maxwell says FSU 30, Louisville 20. And that I just preached about the Tate Rodemaker situation, I do believe. And my pops also said, thanks, Brian. That's great. Good, genuine person. So, all right. You had a question for me, Joey. I just want to catch up on the comments a little bit. Sitters, if y'all got questions about Florida or comments, throw them in there. I got my thing pulled up. I'll read them. Joey can see his as well. So we'll get to them. We're going to kind of let us all organically work through this show and these questions that you have. Jaco's super knowledgeable about it as well. That's why we have him on. Jaco, we appreciate you. You might not have got your proper entrance, man. But we appreciate you hopping in here.
I appreciate y'all having me on, man. It's always good to be sitting on the porch with the boys.
Yes, sir.
Usually it's not different porches, but we'll take it. We'll take what we can get right now.
That's it, man.
I don't remember what my question was, Chris, but we'll start with just the overall synopsis of the game. So what did you guys think of it?
So Jake, I'm gonna jump out here first because I got some questions for you guys. At least what I thought about the game. Huh?
I bet you do have some questions for us.
No, I mean, well, I'll start with saying this. I thought Florida played a better football game than they have most of the year. I thought they played inspired on defense early. I think they had a good game plan as far as getting after Tate, being physical and aggressive. I think the game was extremely fast for Tate early, like extremely fast. The pressure got in his face early. They did a good enough job of taking the quick throws away. Quick game was not available. There were some maybe deep shots available, but he didn't have any time. He wasn't comfortable. They made him that way. I think Florida State having like 3 plays in the first quarter is unbelievable. Florida did a good job of possessing the football, and Brown did a good job of orchestrating the offense. I thought Billy Napier did a good job of calling plays with all the motions. I think he got linebackers in bad situations with their eyes, with some of the motions and some of the movement pre-snap. There's some equated some big runs. But I'll tell you, whenever I quit panicking, Joey, I quit panicking at halftime. I was not happy. I was miserable to be around for the entire first half. I apologize to my wife only because she was the only one I'll be around in that situation. But at halftime, when it was 12-7, and we can go back. I want y'all's thoughts on a few things, but when it was 12-7 at halftime, I felt like we should be down 28-0, maybe 21-3 at best. And it was 12-7. I was like extremely relieved. They had the good drive going into halftime. Florida State did. Were able to do some things they wanted to do. Tate made a couple throws, not a lot, but a couple. At that point, I was like, they'll find a way to win this game. Florida State will. What I want to ask you guys, Jaco, is how did you feel? Let's go quarter by quarter. In the first quarter, what was something that you liked? Joey, I'll come to you next. And something that you disliked out of the first quarter.
I just thought in the first quarter they was able to hold the ball, like you stated earlier. They was able to hold the ball, basically keep it away from Florida State. And then when Florida State did have it, it was loud. They pressured him, off of his spots. And really that first quarter was a complete domination, by Florida. But they just, what did they have to show for it? Didn't have a large margin to show for it. So that was a little concerning. Honestly, you look up, Florida State's got negative yards total offense. And if Florida's up, 7-0,
Yeah, kind of the same thing. I loved the overall aggressiveness of both sides of the ball for Florida. I thought they did a good job of showcasing their abilities overall, like as just a whole offensively and defensively. The aggressiveness was a nice little change up. Obviously, the dislikes was not being dominant on the scoreboard as well as the game, because the first 26 minutes of the game was very dominant. But the scoreboard, like you said earlier, Chris, the scoreboard did not show that. I don't know. That's it, really. That's that's my positives and negatives for the first part of the game, anyways.
Yeah, so I agree. As a Seminole fan, I was sitting back going, like, can it go any worse for us? Like, I know you mentioned Joey, they missed some field goals, but they get the fake punt off, and it was a delayed game. I'm fine with that. The swamp, Blaze Neely was there. He said it was extremely loud. He was texting me during the game. He was like, it's unbelievably loud. That place holds sound, but Gator fans always show up, especially for night games and against an opponent like Florida State with everything's on the line. All the chips are pushed in for both teams, really. Bowl season and Florida State, what they're trying to do. But, you know, they get the fake punt off, so they tip their hand. It is a big play. It's the biggest play that they had all night by far at that point. But it gets called back, so you lose. So you get like a little bit of a spark, and then immediately, like, Florida dumps a gallon of water on it. Like, not only do we put it out, but we're also going to back you up 5 yards and kick us the ball, and we'll take it up to 50. I just thought they absolutely dominated the game early. I mean, Florida State I think they had like 10 plays in the first half. It was something ridiculous, crazy. Maybe a little bit more because of the last drive, but I mean, they went backwards on the majority of them, especially the first 2 or 3 drives. It was like quick back on the field. And then, like I said, Jacob said it too, Florida held the ball. So not only did Florida State's offense could never get in a rhythm because you had the stupid play where they run backwards 12 yards like it was Pop Warner. Like, Florida, you say what you will about the defense, but the team speed is still there. You're not going to do something like that and have success with it. Like, I don't know that there's a whole lot of people in college football that possess that type of speed where you can go backwards and reverse fields 3 or 4 times and expect to go get something positive. But the one play that extended the drive was very critical of Florida was the spitting penalty. Like, that's just the most undisciplined thing. Jacko, you coach football. A lot of our centers have been playing football or have been involved around it. And that is like the number one most unwritten rules. You do not spit on somebody, certainly not in their face. Like, that is like nasty and grimy and to the nth degree. And Billy Napier preaches discipline, this, and then we're doing stuff like that out there. It's just but that extended the drive. That added an extra 15 yards. Like, that was a big penalty.
Play of the game. Change the course of the game.
I agree with you. I do. I think it did change the course of the game. That's huge. That is a huge penalty. When a team is struggling, like Florida State was in the middle of the ocean with no life raft. They were drowning in the swamp. I mean, quite literally. And then you throw them a life raft. You give a team that is capable, a second chance, another opportunity. You're going to pay for that.
Yeah. Blaze said disciplined players is what cost the game. Can't argue that. Waylon said it was wild. Hey, Waylon, what was the best atmosphere you were in this year? Now that the regular season's over and you went to every game, what was the best atmosphere you were in? Blaze also said you have played the run completely different than what they had in the first half. 1,000% agree. They most certainly did, and I'll let Jacob kind of bit more. He's probably a little more well versed in that than me.
Reed Christmas.
Yeah. I was getting to that one in a minute. Marty said agree with Blaze. No discipline, spinning, late hit, you were disrespecting his coach. I want y'all's opinion on that late hit. And Christy McCardle said basically we'll be back next year. So let's talk about the late hit from Jadon Hill. Was that egregious? Was that terrible?
I'll go. Shit, hell, I personally think it's dumb. About said something I can't say. I think it's an awful penalty. The kid's giving himself up 8 yards away. Like, just tag off. It's a punt. Joe, you're okay with that? You're okay with that penalty? Jacob, let me get your opinion because Joey already. I know you're not okay with it, Joey. Jacob, what do you think about the late hit targeting, whatever you want to call it?
I mean, in that moment, that kid, he's just running for his life trying to make a play on the quarterback. I mean, I know they teach him to, lean up on it and all, and he's got to, but right there, he's just trying. I mean, he's thinking, we got to get a stop. He's just going. I don't think he's thinking, oh, God, I got to, make sure this guy, when he slides, I jump over him or don't hit. He's just going.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm.
Joe?
Egregiously bad late hit, and I don't agree that Tate gave himself up 8 yards before sliding as he was getting hit. And that's my only – I think the call was right. I'm not saying the call was not right. I do think it was late hit. But whatever you want to call it, a targeting or whatever. But I don't think it was egregious bad. I just don't.
I may have misspoke. I don't mean he gave himself 8 yards up prior. I mean he gave himself up 8 yards before the first down is what I'm saying. Maybe more.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? Like
he was
have awareness. Yeah, have awareness about the situation. The game is absolutely over. And if you're paying attention, just like in baseball, the strike zone gets established early. The strike zone. In basketball, referees they dictate how they're going to call a game early. In the very first drive, the referees dictated how they were going to call that game, where they called the roughing the passer on Keem Dent, where it's the cleanest sack in the history of sacks. So they already showed you how they're going to referee and officiate the game. They showed you that in the first drive, the first quarter, cost Florida State potentially 7 points. And they should have fit the run better later, but regardless, like it should have been 4th down, kick the field goal. So they showed you how they're going to officiate it, and then you do something like that, that's going to get called 10 times out of 10. So I don't think if you're asking me, did he do it with bad intentions? I mean, yeah, probably he should. That's what he should do, but. Should have been penalized, in my opinion. Yeah, especially with how they showed you the garbage call they had in the early on. They showed you how they were going to officiate that game, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree with that part. I do think that you said it best. When they called the rough, they didn't even call rough in the past. So they called personal foul and then said nothing else with it. So I don't know exactly what that was or what that means. It was awful, whatever it was. But no, I agree. It should have been. The way they were calling the game was definitely going to be a penalty, no question about it. But I saw a lot of people complaining, and he should be ejected, and he should be this, and he should be that, and suspended, and kicked off the team, and it was terrible, and blah blah blah. I saw, and I was like, man, it was a foot play. It was not a very intelligent play. He should have been smarter about what he was doing because of where the 3rd down, 7 yards away from the first down. Like, be smarter about it. But he wasn't doing any. I've seen him play for 3 years now, and I've never seen him hit anybody with ill intent ever. So, I've never seen him hit anybody. So,
Jacob.
Yeah, man, that damn kid ain't trying to hurt nobody, man. He's just trying to make a play.
He should be trying to hurt somebody. That's what they're doing on the football field. I'm okay with it.
He should be. If it was in 2009, they'd be mad at him because he didn't knock his helmet off.
No, he shouldn't have been ejected. Y'all know how I feel about targeting. Anyways, I don't think that should be an ejectable offense. Anyways, I hate it. I despise it. Like if you want to give a 15-yard penalty, fine.
You find pro players. These are pros. Okay, you just find them or flag them. But yeah, we're going to kick a college kid out of a game and subject him to miss the second half. And he's a college kid, an amateur. But these pros, you just find them. A college kid, you kick him out. I mean, I don't get it.
I'm with you. It makes zero sense. They need to fix it. They used to make them get off the sideline, which is dumb. But at least now they can stay and watch the game, which is also dumb. I don't know, Joey, at all. Should not have been ejected. Should have been flagged, yes, but shouldn't have been ejected.
Right. Let's go to the second half, Chris. When did you feel really comfortable? Like as a Florida State fan, when did you look at, like, you were watching the game and you were like, I think we're going to be all right?
I mean, it really started in the first half when they scored. When the offense said that they had a pulse, I thought the defense was put in bad situation after bad situation. We're on the field a lot, way more than they should have been. But it might have been the Keon Coleman punt return. I thought that was a big play. They get a stop and then they go do that. I don't know that there was an exact moment, Joey, in the second half. I thought, for me, that moment happened in the first half when Florida State scored. I thought that was the moment. I think there was a crucial 4th down that Billy Napier could have gone for, but I think that may have been in the first half when he didn't do scared money don't make money thing, and if he would have just been a man of his word, he probably would have converted it. But he didn't want to bet his money that night. But I think if they do that, they probably convert the first down, and I don't know that Florida State defense stands up. I would say the Keon punt return play, which I think set up that next score, was a turning point in the second half for me.
I agree with you. I think the first half, when it was 4th and 1, he ran a play like on 3rd down where you knew he was going for it on 4th down, and then it took him 26 seconds to play in, and so then he had to call a timeout and then decided to kick the field goal. That's when I knew that Florida was going to be in trouble. That's when I knew. I was like, well, another night of the same old. What about you, Jacob?
Yeah, it was in that second quarter, right after that Benson touchdown. Pretty much, I knew right then. I was sitting there watching second half. I'm like, yeah. You just knew though that undefeated Florida State wasn't going to go out easily. You know what I'm saying? Not to know, underachieving Florida squad that's got a backup quarterback with no vertical concepts. They weren't going to just give up to them. So it was in the second quarter. I said, yeah, they're going to win. It was probably, probably after that Benson touchdown in the second half, once I said, okay, this here's over. And then it wasn't final nail in the coffin until your boy Hill got his little targeting that I knew it was done data. But I always knew that an undefeated Florida State team, they were going to battle back in that second half and make that a game at least.
Well, that was the part that confused me. Sorry, Joey. That was the part that confused me about Billy Napier's decision-making was you had to know that 12 points, even 17, 19, is probably not going to be enough. Now, I understand it's Tate Rodemaker, not Jordan Travis, but 19 probably. Because at the time he made that decision, I think Florida State had 7, so they just needed 2 more scores. Like that wasn't going to be the number that was going to win the game. In a 4th and 1, I think with your backs, I think you could find a way to get a yard. I think that decision was a bad one. But yeah, what Jaco's saying, I think Florida State came out in the second half with the attitude that we're going to run the ball at Florida. They went extra tight ends, heavy personnel, 3 tight ends, 13 personnel, 1 back, 3 tight ends. And they decided to just run the ball at Florida because they didn't want to put Tate in harm's way. And they were able to have some success just running just duo, which is basically like double team. We're going to get to a backer if we can. And they were able to do that with some success. Hell with the pull-in. We're not going to run counter because Florida was playing that pretty well. Being disruptive inside on the back blocks, they weren't able to get up to the next level. They just decided to run right at them. And when they were able to do that, then I was like, it could – I want it to work out.
Yeah, Blaze said it in the chat. Going to have to score against FSU in the first half. Average 4.49 points in the second half, giving up. I mean, we knew that. We talked about it last week. We knew that going in. Like they're going to adjust. They're going to be better. I thought we adjusted too, but in the wrong way. I honestly thought the game plan in the first half, not just the first drive. The whole first half, he actually called a pretty good game. Other than the decision to not go for it. But I thought he put Max Brown in good situations in the first half, and that's why we didn't give up 13 sacks in the first half like we did the second. In the second half, he comes out, and he was very, very predictable. It just seemed so like a book. Like you knew what was coming. It was, I don't know, it was just very frustrating. And then, of course, on 3rd and 11, Jared versus 76 on the offensive line. I mean, everybody on God's green earth knows how that turned out. Everybody. And it turned out exactly the way we thought it would, where he bullied that man and made him – yes, it was bad.
Jacob, what do you think? Jacob's O-line, D-line guy. He coaches ball at our good buddy Rick Whittington. Jacob, what do you think about the offensive line play, especially there late?
Oh man, they just ain't up to snuff, buddy. They just ain't capable players. They just really aren't, especially their tackles. They just ain't Division I, Power 5 SEC linemen, man. They just ain't got it in there. They just ain't got it. They may be big. I feel like Florida's got the largest linemen, and they just cannot produce. I mean, it's the same thing over and over again over there. But yeah, their O-line, they were just terrible. It's hard to talk about with them because, I mean, I'm a lineman. I understand what it's like, coaching kids and stuff like that. And when you ain't got it, you just ain't got it. And I just don't feel like them guys really got it. And their coaches probably know it. And I think you can sense some of that in some of the stuff that they call. And Florida with a more mobile quarterback and probably better offensive line, definitely better tackles. I think that you could see that offense really fully progress to what it could be. I really do believe that. A lot of people believe that. I think that's the case. But right now, they have got to hit that portal running on that offensive line and try to get them some guys that can pass protect. And they got to be more physical up front. That's my main thing with them. Is I really like the skill kids Florida has. I think they have really good backs, but if you can't protect people, you're not going to be very successful. And that's the same thing could be said for their interior defensive line. But we'll get into
that. So you said something. Go ahead, Joey.
I agree with all that. I think my biggest problem with the O-line, it seemed like against Missouri when Damian George went out of the game, 76 for Florida. When he went out of the game and you had Cam Waits on one side, and I don't even remember who was the tackle on the other side, but it seemed like everything much easier for them. It just ran more. 76 not in the game, they were a better offensive line, period. Look at the Missouri game. There was no pressure in the second half. Everything ran smooth. Everything ran smooth when 76 wasn't in the game. I can't fathom how you don't have just a body to put there. Like that's you have to have somebody there that can just be a body to run out there that's not going to get bullied into the quarterback like 76 did. That's number one. Number two, you mentioned, Jaco, about the bodies itself, like just massive humans, right? That's where I have a problem with the strength and conditioning program, because right now it doesn't look to be great. It's a lot of huge bodies that have no real athleticism, and then they're not strong. They're just bodies. That's a problem for me. Like that, there's a reason that they're getting bullied like that. There's no way that Damian George at 350 should get bullied like that by Jared Verse. I don't know, man. I'm very disappointed in the strength and conditioning program at this point, because you like I said, you can't get bullied that way, and then it'd be okay.
That's what I was going to ask you guys about the offensive and defensive line. This is where we can transition to the defensive line, Jaco. But just extremely large humans, big, huge guys. George is 365, something crazy like that. He is a huge human. All he's got to do is sink them hips a little bit, big dog, and anchor down, and you ain't getting thrown around like that. But that's bad technique. That's maybe poor conditioning, tired late in the game. And that is a boy dog in Jared Verse. That's a first rounder, obviously. But good Lord, man, it wasn't like that was the only time that happened. Are y'all, and Joe, you already alluded to it, Jacob, what's your opinion? Because I'm going to be honest, I heard the strength coach talk at a coaching clinic. He was just a touch corny. He was just a touch weird. He was just a touch strange. I've heard a couple of their players tell us he was just a touch of someone they don't necessarily believe in, someone they think is a bit of a fraud. And it's showing because they don't, yes, they're big, but they don't appear to be overly strong. They seem to get moved at will. Jacob, what's your opinion on the strength staff in general?
I really don't know. I can't really speak on them too much because I really don't know exactly what they got going on. I do know this, though. They have recruited these individuals. They were this big, and they recruited them, and they hadn't really got them developed. I think, they probably thinking, oh, yeah, we'll take this 6'7", 380-pounder, and we'll, get 50 pounds off of him and chisel him up and, make him into a dominant prospect. Well, I haven't seen that. I don't know. I know they say they got all these big guys over there, but, and you would think that you could put that 21, I think he's about 350 or 450 pounds, and 99, he's probably 6'7", 6'6", 380, 400. You think you could stick those two guys in there at two eyes, and they'd be able to get, down and hold a point of attack, but it seems like they just big for nothing and just get shoved into linebackers' laps. And I think that that's probably why they are as large as they are. They just, they're big for whatever reason, but it's not obviously to play football and be dominant.
The one thing I'll say about Desmond Watson, 21, you're talking about 450 pounds. I thought he may have played his best game. He was against, at least against Florida State, he at times extremely disruptive. There was a fourth down play on the goal line that he makes that if he doesn't make it, Trey Benson scores a touchdown. Instead, we have to settle for a field goal that makes it, I guess it was 17-12, maybe 15-12, something like that. 14-12. I don't know. I should know, but I don't know. But it made it to where maybe 15-12. I don't know. But I think if Jordan Travis is in the game, they go for it. But with Tate, they said, no, sir, we're not going to allow you to mess this up. We're going to kick this field goal from 21 freaking yards out. But because of what 21 did. But you're right. You got Cam Jackson in there. That's huge. Honest to God, I truly believe this, and I told Joey this early in the year. I think that they messed up McClellan, number 7. He was an absolute terror, a problem last year. He is a non-factor on the Trey Benson run. He gets swallowed up by one of Florida State's not great linemen, and I mean just absolutely just swallowed up. Like you are not going anywhere at all. He didn't break off a block. He wasn't explosive off the ball, but he's heavy. I told Joey this is spring practice. I said, man, Jaco, I saw you there. I told Joey this. I said, 7 is he's fat. Like he is not like a freaking nature. Like I personally don't like those type of D linemen. 450, 390. They put 40 pounds on McClellan to make him 290. Like, man, that kid played better at 280 in my opinion. 270.
Yeah. McClellan, he regressed.
I think it's the weight gain.
I think it's the weight gain.
Yeah, no doubt, because he's probably got to put on that pounds just so he can compete all day with them big ass guys, 400 pounders.
Yeah, I agree. And we have talked about it, Chris. McClellan, he came in at probably 275, 280, and played really well at 275, 280, and then went to what looks to be about 325 right now, and he didn't play well at all this year. And I don't know if that's a negative on the strength and conditioning coach, or if it's a negative on Spence, the D-line coach, who's no longer with the program. I'm not 100% sure who that's on and why they had it that way, but I know the man was pretty darn good as a true freshman, and he was not great as a true sophomore. So I don't know. We'll see where it goes from here. Let's transition real quick into the kind of just the overall state of the program, Jaco. I know Chris is probably tending to something personal right now. There we go. But this overall state of the program. What do you want to see over the next few weeks in Billy Napier and the staff? What do you want to see happen?
Well, I honestly think they're in major trouble. I just hope that he can stabilize the program the best way he sees fit and try to sustain the class, get those recruits landed, get them in the early enrollment period in December, get him some staff hired that he wants, probably makes a few more fires and a few more hires, and just get the program going, try to get through next year and see where you're at. I don't know what next year's going to hold for him. I really feel as a Gator fan, I'm in a bad state of mind with it because, you're getting rid of staff members But your main goal of hiring Napier is, because he's an ace recruiter, you get rid of your staff. That's their position coaches. So now you're losing your recruiting class. You've got the players that are currently on the roster. Where are they at? Now they don't know. They can easily hop into the portal. It's just going to be, for me, can he keep what he has and then build upon what he needs to do for the future? And that's, obviously sustain that class, get some coaches in there and see what he can do during Murderous Row next year. I mean, that schedule, he's just facing an uphill battle. Poor old Billy. He's getting paid whatever the hell he's getting paid to do it.
Joey, what do you think? Because I have some questions for y'all, but Joey, I'd like to get your overall opinion. But then I have some questions for you guys as far as a fan to fan type of thing.
So I tweeted pretty much right after the game, okay, that's great. It's time to move on. Fire who you're going to fire. Hire who you're going to hire. Make sure you keep the class together to an extent, or get new guys, whatever the situation is. The recruiting numbers have to look good, because optics are everything. Whether we like that or not, we have to have optics. The perception is reality. We say that all the time. If the perception is his class is sticking and the class is a good class, then that's going to be a reality, and that's what people are going to see. If the class falls apart, that's also going to be reality, and that's not a good thing for future. I'm not giving up on him. I don't think he's not the guy for the job. I'm not 100% sure that he is, but I'm not 100% sure that he's not either. I think I do think that he needs to, and I've said this for several weeks now, I think he needs to hire an offensive coordinator, probably from within, and actually let them do that. I know Rob Sale is technically the offensive coordinator right now, but let's be honest, he doesn't do anything with the offense as far as coordinating. I think he needs to. I don't know whatever he needs to do. He's not bringing in anybody from the outside. I feel good about that. I don't think he's going to do that, but I think that he does need to hire somebody from within, so at least he can say, "Listen, I'm going to let this guy have it. He's going to do this, and then that's going to help me in game make the decisions quicker. I'll be more on time. That I can coach more from here and there and everywhere. Blah blah blah." And if he says all that, it at least puts people at ease. Whether he means it or not, I don't care. That's irrelevant to me. But if you say it, then that puts people's minds at ease. And like I just said, perception is reality. And if that's the perception that he's going to do that, then as of this moment, that's got to be the reality until we prove otherwise. So that's what I want to see in the next few weeks is just that stuff. And then, we'll go from there. Blaze said the biggest question is what hire does he make that a person uproots their family and goes to a guy that may be fired next year? And he's not wrong about that.
I want to get to Blaze's question, but I want Jacob to respond to you because I know he wants to.
I want to hear you. I want to hear you, Chris. Go. I want to hear this question.
No, my question is going to be about the hires. So I don't want to get too far removed from Joey's point before I ask about the question about the hires. Because I know you don't agree with what he just said.
I think Napier's probably just snake bit. There just seems like there's so many times throughout the season, whether it be having 2 number 3s on the field, that happens. You got to punt the ball. You got big play at Kentucky, the Ray Davis, boom, sudden change, more points. That could have been stopped. You got numerous things throughout the years, just like Napier is not got it going on. We got issues with the special teams in Arkansas, just timeouts, questions. You got 52 people over there. You got an army of folks working for you. The University of Florida has poured in more resources to you and your staff than anybody ever before. You've been given a longer leash than anybody's ever been gotten, and you cannot go to a bowl game at the University of Florida, you're not producing results. I mean, there's got to be some production. And now you're facing, I mean, next year's schedule, ridiculous. And I think probably what they're going to do is they may just say, hey, ride this thing out, and then they'll probably get rid of him at the end of it anyway. They don't fire him in the middle of it because, and I hated it. I mean, I think there was moments. I think the main moment was probably against Arkansas. That was a moment they could have captured. You know what I'm saying? Went to a bowl game. They had another opportunity Saturday night. If they beat Florida State, they stop the bleeding. Everything's aces again. And Napier, you know, on his way. But it's just, there's so many little things that you just sit there and look at and you're like, dots ain't connecting. I know there's people out there that in a year or two can hit the portal, get people to the University of Florida, and be relevant again. There's coaches out there that can do that. I don't know that Napier's got it. I just think that it's probably something that needs to just go ahead and be wrapped up because we don't know what's going to happen. But I can assure you there's going to be a lot of players hitting the portal from the University of Florida. Probably going to be some hitting it here real soon. From what I've been hearing from some of my people on the inside, it's going to shock you. Going to put you in a real bad state of mind as a Gator fan. So when that starts happening, you know, you ain't gonna have a lot of people wanting to stick with that guy.
I agree with that. And so that leads me to my next. Go ahead, Joey. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I was just gonna say the only reason I'm not all out on Napier, and I think it kind of starts with Florida State, like where Mike Norvell had to kind of learn to win at the Power 5 level. You saw the first 2 years where it was the same little crap that you're talking about. Yeah, they're saying it in the chat right now. ETN, Shamar James, Caleb Douglas, Max Brown already in the portal. So there's guys that the rumor millers are going. They're going hard. Kamari Wilson's already in the portal. But anyways, throughout the course of the year for Norvell, the first 2 years, and then he kind of turns it around and figures it out. I'm not 100% sure that he is fantastic, but I do know that he's created a great culture there, and he's put guys in positions to win football games now. And I understand the ifs aren't real life, but Florida's what would you say, Jaco? 6 plays away from being 8-4. You give me Arkansas where you don't screw up the field goal situation, the 4th and 17 against Missouri, and then just don't crap the bed in the second half against Florida State, and you're 8-4 right there.
Yeah.
And then it's a whole different outlook. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think.
But that's what I'm getting at, though, Joey. He snake bit. That's what I'm saying. I mean, you're talking about these little things that happen. You see it. I mean, hell, Florida State had less total yards than Florida did in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, it's not that. I mean, they do some things. They're in the games a lot. I mean, it's hard being a Gator fan because they're in the games, you know. I mean, you're LSU. There's times against LSU that I'm thinking, okay, you know, we might get these guys in Death Valley at night.
We had,
you know, but it's these little things that he's so snake bit that happens, and you're like, wow, you know, this shouldn't be happening. And to your point about Norvell and having to win, that's true. But Norvell inherited a true dumpster fire from your boy Willie. All right. Napier has got so much staff and resources. He's got way more help at his disposal than Mike Norvell has or had.
Yeah.
So he's got to produce at a faster rate and needs to be more efficient at doing that. And he talks good. He's real smooth. He never seems like he's always composed. You know what I'm saying? He's got that head coach way about him. But I'm starting to look and say, I ain't buying this, bro. I ain't buying this. And is what it is.
Yeah, I'm definitely not this all, but
I think one of the differences with Norvell and him is Norvell, like you said, inherited a dumpster fire. It was during COVID where he did not meet his team for the first 6 months. They were sending them players freaking Anytime Fitness family gym. Like he didn't meet his kids. He had some real bad apples that tried to literally get him fired because they called him a liar on national TV, even though that's not true. And now that kid's in prison somewhere. But he had some like real uphill battles that he had to go against. The other thing to y'all's point, Jacob, you keep saying snake bit, and I agree. I think the margins when you make the type of money that is at stake in these universities is razor thin. The margin is razor thin. So, yes, we might be 6 plays away from 8 wins, but we don't have the 8 wins, which should piss you off even more. Like, just do your job and be competent, and we may be 8-4. I think that's part of the issue. The next part that I think is concerning if I'm a Gator fan is and I think Blaze asked the question earlier, and Jacob, you've seen the coaching carousel, and we all are familiar with it. But as a coach, I want stability. I want to know that I'm not going to have to pick my kids and my family up and move them in a calendar year. I want to know, yes, the money is going to be great, and we know that Florida is going to pay. They've proven that. You said it with the resources they've given them. They've given them plenty of money, a coaching assistant coaching pool that's more than Florida has ever had. So the money is going to be great. But as a coach, if Florida's offering me $750,000 and I'm making $600, say at somewhere stable in the SEC, Missouri, they got it going in the right direction with Eli Drinkwitz. Your $750 for 1 year sounds great, but I don't know that you're going to have a job next year, big dog. So then neither will I. And so I might just stay put for my little $500 that I'm making times 2. Now that's $1 million. Is more than the $750, and I'm in a better situation. So I don't know that you're going to be. I don't know who do you go get. You fire Corey Raymond. He was like the Godfather. I was told that was the best hire in Florida history when they hired Corey Raymond because of his track record at LSU, which I do tend to agree with. The track record at LSU is really good. And it doesn't pan out like a year later, and the guy that actually calls the plays is the one keeping his job. There's too many scapegoats. I don't know that we're fixing the issue. I think we're prolonging the issue, and I hate that for you guys because I like y'all. Y'all are my friends, but I think they're prolonging the inevitable, in my opinion. I know you can't fire the guy right now. I know you can't, but like you said, I don't know that I feel great about the situation either if I'm a Gator fan.
It's bleak.
Yeah, it is bleak. I think it's a rock and a hard place right now. And I've heard that there was some differences between like Corey Raymond and Spence and Armstrong, and Corey Raymond and Raymond and Spence both have been around for a while, and I don't know. I don't know exactly what the right thing to do in that scenario is. I know that the defensive backs did not get better this year. I mean, you look at Jason Marshall, and he wasn't better. Kamari Wilson wasn't better. Jalen Kimber was abysmal all year long.
That's fair.
None of them got better, and that's where I'm going to. But I mean, is that scheme? Is that the way the defense is drawn up? They don't know what they're doing. Raymond doesn't know how to coach the defense because they're so multiple in the front, multiple in the back, and he can't figure it out either. I don't know the ins and outs of it. I just know that DBs weren't great this year. I also know that the D-line wasn't great this year. And they have pieces that they could have been pretty good. So I agree with that.
I'll agree with that too.
Yeah, I get using them as scapegoats. I don't know the answers, and I don't know that he knows the answers either at this point. He's just searching for them just like the rest of us, and he's hoping that something will go on the dartboard and stick and it'll look good.
Yeah, I think that they really just when them guys get fired, I mean, they're not gonna go hire somebody better than Chaos. They ain't gonna go find somebody better than Corey Raymond.
That I agree.
I mean, them guys are just them are good coaches, but it was time for them to go because it's chopping block season. It's like, is it my head or is it yours?
Yes.
And I mean, he fired it. He got rid of his DC or whatever. That guy, he went to the Cardinals, brings in Armstrong, to save them. They suck again. All right, here, what do we do now? All right, well, we'll fire Chaos. We'll fire Raymond. All right. What's next? His head.
Right. That.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, he's trying to, I mean, who do you all fire, last year? Who all left last year? I forgot now. But anyway, there was a few people he let go or whatever, got other jobs he fired. He's just trying to exhaust all options.
Yeah, Patrick Toney left last year. I don't know if he left on his own or if he was told to leave, but technically he didn't get fired. I just know he left. And then the receivers coach, the guy that came from USC.
Colbert.
Yeah, Kerry Colbert. Really good. I liked him a lot. Also left to go to the NFL.
Really good.
Probably was a bad sign in itself. And we said that then, Chris, that wasn't a good sign that a guy that came here for 1 year and then left for the NFL, it just didn't look great because he was really good at recruiting and he seemed to be a really good developer of talent. It's kind of what you want in a receivers coach.
Another point. So I coach. If I know a guy has a heavy hand, he's going to ask him any chance he gets, or not any chance he gets. That might not be fair, but real short leash for me. I'm gonna leave my situation. That's really because if you're going to get an up and comer, somebody that's going to make a difference, you're going to get a good coach that knows they're good coach. High school coaches field offers all the time, right? I mean, not me, but I know people that get 3 and 4 phone calls every about this time of year. About this time of year when they come in. They know that they're coveted. They know that they're wanted. They know their worth. They know their value. If I'm weighing this Florida situation and this other one, I'm like, man, Billy, you might be fired. Like, you might not have a chance to fire me, but your track record says you will fire me if that buys you more time. I'm just not signing up for that. I can't put my family through it. Them guys don't. That's not good for their career. So I'll be extremely intrigued to see, who he has. Who's next? Because I heard, and y'all know this, the firing, it's not done. It's not over. There's more coaches going.
I have heard that, but I've yet to see it, so I don't know for sure that it's going to happen.
They'll find.
Yeah, no, they will. They'll find somebody, but is it going to be a better fit than Chaos or Raymond?
No, it ain't gonna. I mean, you got rid. Go back to Mullen. He got rid of Grantham. You gonna get a better DC than Grantham? No, but it was time for him to go. It's me or you. It's me or you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're right. A couple of questions in the chat. Should Billy be more patient when firing his staff as restarting every year is hurting the growth of the program? I don't think he has the ability to be patient anymore. I think he's got to do what he's got to do because he knows he's very close to being next. I truly believe that. Blaze said, no way you want a new coach to have to go through that schedule next year. Don't start the new guy off on a bad start. I think that's going to play a little bit of role in this.
That's right.
I do. I think that's part of the reason that he's going to stick around no matter what. He could do whatever he wanted to right now, and he's sticking around because they're not having somebody go through that schedule for their first year and already having his head on the chopping block.
They're going to have him hold all. They're going to have him hold all those losses and get somebody a fresh slate. I'm not saying there's going to be a ton of losses.
He's going to tuck all them L's, ain't he, Chris?
That's not really what I meant. That is what I said, but that's not really what I meant. Jacob, I promise I can bring you on here to bash Florida. I promise, brother. I promise I did.
No, you ain't gotta bring me on here to bash them. They understand it. I bash them. I love them, but I bash them. But he gonna get whoever come up with the schedule, man. That guy.
Mesnar said Strickland may be next. I truly believe that Strickland goes, then Napier goes, new AD comes, then new coach comes. They're going to give the new AD the ability to hire his guy, whoever it is. I don't know who it's going to be. I don't know when it'll be, but I think Strickland's going with Napier. I do think that. What do you think, Jaco?
Yeah, I think that Strickland is pending right now. But I don't know how all that goes. I mean, maybe basketball, baseball being productive, or some female sport might save him. Be a national champion or something. I don't know. I don't know how that goes, but I'm sure that people are growing razor thin patience with that guy. I for one am. I think Strickland's got to, get it going, but time will tell. But I think he's out. I think he's probably done when Napier's done. I think you're right on that.
Yeah, I do. I know one of the women's basketball program when all that went out with their previous head coach. Bad look for him. That was the beginning of the end, I think, for him.
He won't make the third football coach hire. He will not. He will not make whoever the next football coach is. He ain't gonna be the one to make it.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean he's gone too.
Yeah. Mesnard said, I've heard only rumors that Strickland may be out soon, which is not good for Napier. Like I said, I think that it goes Strickland, Napier, then hire AD, then hire head football coach. That's how I think the sequence is going to go. I think it's going to go that way relatively quick, personally.
If they hire an AD, if they bring on a new AD, there will be a new head coach within 4 or 5 months. That he'll have his own guy. That's how that works. They're attached. Like people, I don't know if people realize that, but ADs typically come and go. The longevity of their career is based off of the head coach of the football program. Normally,
right? Unless you're a basketball school or whatever, and then sure, but yes,
or you've been established for forever.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick. Into let's talk about Josh's barbershop, just because Josh is the man. You won't find a better barber on planet Earth. He's as good as it gets in the company and the fellowship and the drinks in the refrigerator and the popcorn machine. It's always fresh. It's as fresh as the haircut. It's so good. Like you're just not going to get a better experience than Josh's barbershop. Go see Josh McCardle. Or Christy McCardle, she's got her thing going out there too. It's a big time situation out there on the McCardle Island, and we love those guys. They're good people. But give him a text 386-247-1430. If you text him, he'll get the schedule to you, and then you can pick your own times and figure it out from there. Christmas is coming up. You guys need to look sharp. Make sure you get it done. 386-247-1430. Josh's Barbershop. Best in the business.
Joe, you remember whenever she got these cups made for us?
I do remember that.
That cup is straight from the McCardles, man.
Yeah, listen, Christy is just as good as Josh.
Yeah.
Like Christy's just as good as Josh. She's the real deal.
No doubt. Jacob, you just got a haircut. You look incredible. The next haircut you get, if you will allow it, I'd like to pay for it from the front porch with our guy Josh. If you can find time, I know you're a long ways away, but we'll compensate you with the haircut. We'll take care of it on the house from the front porch. You just let me know when.
I got you. I'm always down for a free cut, my man.
I got you. We got you.
I love it. Let's go. All right, hey, real quick, because we're like an hour and 15 minutes into this thing. Let's go to the college football playoff for a little bit. Just kind of talk it out, see what we can come up with, see what we like, what we don't like, what's going to happen with it. Were y'all surprised by anything with the committee and what they did Tuesday? Yes.
Let me go first. Let me go first here, Joey, and then I'm coming to you next, Jacob. Joey, right now, final top 4 in order.
Who I think is the best 4 teams, or who I think gets in the playoffs?
No, sir. Who gets in? Who is the 4 teams on Saturday or whatever day they do it? Sunday. I guess it'll be Sunday at like noon or 1, I believe. Who is in? And in order.
Michigan 1. Yeah, I think Michigan 1. I really don't know, man. I'm gonna go
Alabama 2. Jesus.
Oregon 3, Florida State 4.
You love chaos. You love chaos. You got Alabama at 2.
I mean, I think their win over Georgia. If they win over Georgia, I think it holds weight.
So just to recap, because I'd like to move on to Jaco, you have it as Michigan 1, Bama beats Georgia convincingly for them to get Bama at 2. You said Oregon at 3 because they're going to beat Washington, and then you think Florida State beats Louisville. They somehow remain in, and they keep one loss, Georgia out. Okay, got it. Jacob, what do you got?
I got Michigan 1, Oregon 2, Bama 3, Georgia 4.
Chaos. You guys are so y'all got Bama winning, obviously. Y'all's is way more fun than mine. Yeah, man. Also, the McCardle said the cut is on us, Jacob. So you ain't even gonna come out of my pocket, buddy.
That's just how good they are.
They really are great people. It's good for real. They got a refrigerator stock full. Yeah, trust me, it's all right.
If you guys say it's good, it's good. I'm down for the McCardle cut.
There we go. I'm gonna go. I think Georgia wins. So I got Georgia stays at 1. I think Michigan obviously wins. I think Michigan stays at 2. What I think happens and what I hope happens are the same thing, which is really bad for my heart on Saturday. So I think Oregon beats Washington. I think Florida State. I know I picked Louisville, but I think Florida State might find a way to upset and make me wrong on that. So I think Oregon State, the way they're slotted right now with Florida State and Oregon are here. I think they just bump up, Washington bumps out. So I think I'll have Florida State at 3, Washington or Oregon at 4. And that's mainly because I just don't want to match up with Georgia at 1. Pretty much. That's how I pick mine.
That's understandable. That's understandable. If let's say if Bama beats Georgia, how do they keep Texas out? Like, because we assume that a one-loss SEC champion in Bama is going to the playoff. Like we all three assume that, right?
Yeah.
So
tell the sitters to put their picks in the chat, Joey. Waylon already did.
Yeah, I was gonna say Waylon's already done it. Mesnard didn't put it, but he just said go Louisville, Georgia, Iowa, and Washington. I think he wants chaos too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we assume that if Bama wins, they're in. How do they jump Texas? Because right now they're at 8.
They don't. So Mesnard, he's right. Go ahead, Jacob.
Well, I mean, they're going to beat an undefeated Georgia. They're going to put them in the playoff. I mean, so it's just going to be what it is. I mean, they're just going to jump them over them. Hell, they've done crazier stuff before. But I really like Texas. I think that the reason that they beat Alabama was because they were better than them in Tuscaloosa. I watched that game. They were really good. Texas is a great team. Probably Chris, he might not like this, but probably the best 4 would be Georgia, Michigan, Texas, and Bama. Just go at it again. But I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know how they're going to do that. I mean, yeah, they're in the 8 hole right now, but I mean, if they beat Georgia, they're going to have Bama and Georgia in the playoff, right?
Yeah,
probably.
You
would think.
All right, so then the winner of Oregon and Washington's going to get in there.
It seems that way, yeah.
And then Michigan is going to be in, right?
So undefeated Florida State out.
If they're undefeated,
Florida State. If Florida State's undefeated, they got to put them in there.
I agree.
It's going to be a hell of a.
That's what makes this so
man.
fun.
It ain't fun, Joey. And no part of this shit fun. None of this was fun for a Florida State fan. We hate this. This is the worst. This is terrible.
No,
this is like the worst.
You just want chalk as a Florida State fan. You want Washington. Just keep these same 4 riding.
I mean, I think legitimately though, yeah, I do. I think the biggest chaos factor for me, like what causes me the biggest problem is a Bama upset over Georgia, because I just don't know how you leave.
The only way.
That's the only way. How do you leave a one-loss Georgia team in their conference championship game, champion 100 days? How do you leave them out?
Because their schedule was the weakest of anybody in the top 8.
I mean, it said that at the beginning, but then they beat a number 12 overranked Ole Miss team. They beat a bad Tennessee. They beat a Missouri that Florida almost beat. But because the SEC, and I think that is the best conference in football, so I'm okay with that. But I do think they're overranked oftentimes in the top 25. But because they beat those teams, it looks good down the stretch.
Pac-12 is the best.
I'm okay with that.
I said that.
I'll buy that. What do you think, Joey?
Yeah, no, I said that last week. I thought the Pac-12 was the best as well, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago. But yeah, I like I said earlier, or like you said earlier, Georgia winning is key for everyone right now. I don't think anybody wants to see them win. Nobody. Well, like Bama and people that, which I want to see the best 4 teams, and I think Bama's part of that group right now. But also Texas is, and I don't see a single way Texas can get in right now unless a lot of people lose.
I'm just so conflicted. Here's why I'm conflicted, because we keep talking about Bama. And you know what I keep seeing with Florida State? People saying, that we don't want a TCU 2.0. Well, TCU beat Michigan. So what are y'all talking about, you freaking weirdos? Your asses don't remember shit if you don't remember that team that you said they got embarrassed by Georgia. Hell, everybody was about to get embarrassed by Georgia. But TCU beat Michigan. So did Michigan not belong too? And if that's the case, then I'm cool with leaving their ass out too.
Everybody got embarrassed by Georgia last year. Georgia's team last year was one of the best it's ever been. So, and
they're not the same Georgia. They're not the same Georgia this year. If Florida State, here, go ahead.
But I said the exact same thing today, Chris. When me and Cody were talking about it at work, I just, you can't say, well, I watched TCU last year. Now, do I think that Florida State is a top 4 team right now in college football without Jordan Travis? I'm sorry, I just don't. Does their body of work they should be in right now? It does. And so that's where, and I understand that's hard for one Seminoles to partake in, because as a fan you want your team no matter what, because they deserve to be in. But at the same time, like, if we're going with the best 4 teams, it's different than the most deserving teams, and that's what I don't think the committee has any base on what they're going to do, because I don't think they know which teams are deserving and which teams are the best. I think they're like so confused as to what they want that they don't know what they're doing.
I will say they've been consistent. If they continue to be consistent, then what they'll do is, again, assuming Georgia wins and the Washington gets upset, they'll just slot Georgia up. They ranked them for a reason. They ranked Florida State for a reason. Like, they could have. Here's where the committee messed up. You want to tell you where the committee messed up? I talked with this with Doug Peeler today. I literally, the committee right now, they could have rewarded Michigan for a huge win against number 3 Ohio State, and they could have docked Georgia for them playing a 1-score game against a garbage Georgia Tech team. They could have switched those two. They could have put Michigan at 1, Georgia at 2. That would have been understandable. Everybody would have been okay with it. But they didn't do that, which set up a scenario where if Georgia loses, they're good. Because if they're at 2 and they lose, they're out. If they're at 1 and they lose, now there's cause for argument. We can get both Bama and Georgia in. But they put themselves in a rock and hard place by doing that. Nobody would have batted an eye at that. There have been Georgia fans who would have been mad, but everyone else in the world would have said, Michigan did just beat the Ohio State team who was number 3, and y'all played Georgia Tech sorry ass to a 1-score game. We're going to flip-flop y'all right here. But they didn't do that. They had to go. They didn't do it.
I agree with all that. Won't get an argument for me. I can see a lot of things happening. I don't know if any of it's good or bad for the sport in general. I think they should just go ahead and move it to 12 teams this year and be done with it.
It definitely looks
that
like
makes sense.
They need an 18 playoff right here.
An 18 playoff this year literally would be perfect.
Yeah.
Let me ask y'all a question, because it's fun when the rabbit ain't got the gun, but when the rabbit's got the gun, it ain't fun. So right now, Florida State's on. Is it imperative in your opinion, both of your, not what the committee will do, but in your both? I appreciate both what you guys think about football. Is it important that Florida State beats Louisville convincingly Saturday? Or will that matter? Does that have any as far as Florida State getting in or being left out? If they skirt by Louisville, or if they boat race Louisville, does that impact where they fall in the rankings? Or is 13-0 13-0?
I think 13-0 is 13-0 to an extent, but I do think because of the situation. Now, if they had Jordan Travis, I don't think it matters at all. Completely irrelevant.
I agree.
But because this is two without Jordan Travis, I think they have to almost boat race Louisville. Not have to. That's not what I meant to say. But I think it like we talked about earlier, perception is reality. Perception would then be, okay, well, these guys are still pretty good even without Jordan Travis. We're okay putting them in. They're not going to get boat raced by anybody because everything else is good. We just needed to see a solid a quarterback play that from Florida State that was solid. And if they do that and they boat race Louisville, then I think they're in no matter what at that point.
Yeah, if Bama wins, it don't matter what Florida State does. But if Georgia wins, then Florida State, all they got to do is win. Win by 1 point, and they're in.
I can appreciate that stance too.
No, and that's what I expected one of you to say. That's why I asked the question. So I think like Florida State fans better be the biggest Georgia Bulldog fans in the world this weekend, because if they win, they eliminate a lot of scenarios that keep them on the outside looking in. A one-loss SEC champion Bama is getting in, and it will be extremely difficult to leave a number one seed, one-loss Georgia Bulldog out. We haven't lost a game in almost 700 days, and the only one that loses is a conference championship game. Right, wrong, or indifferent, that's the reality of the situation, at least in my opinion.
I agree. I 100% agree with that.
Which I think it's garbage. I think it's garbage, but that's what's going to happen. Like, you can feel it. Like, you can absolutely feel it. You can feel it. You can feel it. I still think there's an argument to be said that
he's going to cover, Chris.
You damn right. They're about to run. Why'd I pick them? They're about to run it up. Did I pick Bama or did I say Bama? Joe, who did I pick?
You picked Georgia. You said Bama.
Man, switch that shit. I'm going Georgia.
All right.
Florida State ain't going to even be Bill, Chris, so you ain't even got to worry about it, though.
But Florida State has to be Louisville. That's the biggest thing. I don't necessarily know that happens.
You're right. I'm saying that. Hey, Jake Plummer,
Hey, real quick, and then we can be done for the night. But is there a scenario where either Ohio State or Texas get in? Right now, they're the 6th and the 7th seed.
It'd be what I will say is, of course there is, but it will be like if Georgia would have to win almost, I think, because I think if Georgia loses, you get Bama and Georgia.
I think
talk at the top.
Get into.
I think you have to have Louisville win, and you have to have Oregon win, I guess, a tight one.
I don't think the Oregon and the Washington game matters. I think Georgia has to win, Iowa has to win, and then
Louisville.
Yeah, and then Florida State has to lose, and then maybe you can get either Ohio State or Texas in.
I see. Yeah, Iowa have to win 20-point spread. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. When's the last time? How many times has Iowa scored 22 points in a game, period?
Never. In the history of the whole world, never.
I mean, they're the ones with 25-point total between two games, two teams.
Hey, there's 12-1 Michigan that loses to Iowa get in over 11-1 Ohio State, who lost to Michigan.
Say it again.
If Iowa does beat Michigan, would Ohio State jump Michigan?
Don't they take head-to-head or head-to-head matchups? Isn't that like the second thing that they take stock in?
Well, they say
Michigan's still going to get in because they're not going to like punish someone who had to play a conference championship game just because they had to play.
Bingo. I agree with that. I think you're right. I think it'd be really hard for Ohio State to get in for real. I know Mesnard ain't going to like that, but that's tough. It's going to be tough.
Where that happens.
Say it again, Joey, because I was talking over you. I couldn't hear you.
I don't see a single scenario where Ohio State gets in. There's not a chance to me.
It's not a ball game, Joey.
Yeah, I just don't see it. But anyways, y'all got anything else?
Yeah, I got a couple things right here.
Talk to me.
Yes.
All right. Some bets right here. You ready?
Yes, heck yeah. Thank you for that.
All right, let's get best parlay I got. Let me see here. All right, I like Washington to cover, Bama to win, Texas to cover, Iowa with the points, Louisville to win.
Ooh.
A little AAC championship game action. I like SMU versus Tulane. SMU's a 3.5-point underdog. I like them to come out and win. And then a little Conference USA championship game. New Mexico State playing your boys from Liberty. 10.5-point underdog. Give me New Mexico State versus Liberty. Also, you're gonna love this. You're gonna love this. This is my best bet. You ready?
I'm ready for it.
All right. Best bet. Michigan, Iowa, the over-under.
Okay.
It's at 35.5. The under's a lock.
Boom.
The under's a lock at 35.5. Take it.
The only thing, Jaco, that scares me about the under is Michigan may score 40 by themselves. The only thing that scares me about that.
Iowa, you ready? Iowa pass defense, 9th nationally.
Mm-hmm.
Iowa run defense, 16th nationally. Michigan Wolverines, passing offense, 61st. Rushing offense, 54th. Can we just get to the playoff, they think? Michigan 20, Iowa 3. Take the under. That's my best bet.
Hey, I heard you say something about SMU. Go Green Wave. Go Green Wave. My old man paid it too late. That's his helmet right there, Jacob.
3.5-point favorite in their championship. AAC. What does that mean? I think it's
American Conference. Give me Tulane.
Tulane loves them.
Chris, do you have the best bet or a parlay?
Do I?
Yeah, do you have one?
Yeah, I do. I don't think Georgia covers, so I'm not betting them. I would take I told you I would take Iowa in the points. The news of Florida State's kind of messing me up a little bit. You know something that I don't know. So I'm going to have to text Blaze here shortly and fill him in, or you're going to have to text him because I don't know what you know. So that messes me up a little bit because there was a number in there I really liked. It was the second half number. I would say to try and catch a second half under for Louisville. Florida State does pretty good in the second half on defense, 4.5 points a game on average. And then I would take I personally really like Oregon. I'm a believer in Dan Lanning. I could play for that guy. I could play for Dan Lanning, and I base maybe a little bit too much on that, but I play for Dan Lanning and the Oregon Ducks. So I think he'll have his boys ready to avenge that loss. That, in my opinion, they were the better team that day. I think they're much better now. They're trending up. I think Washington's been playing bad for about a month and a half. So I think that gets settled. So it's a little 3-teamer. We'll leave it at 3 without Florida State, without knowing what's going on there. So that's what I would have, Joy. And the best bet would be Iowa in the points, in my opinion.
I like that. I ain't mad at that. I have a little mixed parlay with college football and the NFL that I like. I'm on the other side of the New Mexico State Liberty game. I like Liberty minus 10.5. I got Florida State minus 2.5. Indianapolis Colts -1. The Denver Houston over 47, and then Kansas City -6 on Sunday night to close it out for a $10 parlay to win about $220 or so. So I'm gonna run that this weekend for fun. And then my best bet, I don't have one actually. I don't know. I'm all over the board on this.
I got a little 3-team parlay for you.
Yeah, I love it. Yes.
This is a good one. This one is going to be good. All right, because I've did a lot of research on this. I think this is going to hit now. It's going to be hitting, boys.
I'm writing it
all
down.
Right, Texas. Take Texas with the 14.5.
I love it.
Okay. All right. Take the Michigan-Iowa under, and also take Iowa with the points. Those 3 right there, $10 probably get you about $220. That's a lot. Telling you, take them.
I'm about to put it in. As soon as we're done, I'm about to allegedly put it in.
Yeah, allegedly I may do it too. I don't know. I wrote it down for sure to allegedly, maybe possibly put it in. Maybe. Allegedly.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. Either way, it'll be fun.
100%.
Maxwell says he says best bet is FSU ultimate spread -9.5. Now I will say my boy Max would know. Jacob, he works with Florida State football program pretty closely. So that's a good plug right there.
Oh, so he likes Florida State.
Yeah, I'd say he probably loves Florida State.
He's a touch of a homer.
No, he's definitely a homer.
I can see that with that 9.5.
Jacob, we gotta get you up here in Lake City, man. We gotta get you over here in Lake City. We gotta get you. It'll be about a week or two for that haircut, because that haircut's too good right now. But when it's time, it's time.
Yeah, they're laid in a little bit right here, you know.
Yeah, he got you. He got you good looking good now.
But I'm gonna have to get over there. I got to get into some jungle life.
That's a good
zoo life.
Zoo life. That's it. Zoo life. Big cats. Ah! Big cat.
Hey, whenever we're done with this podcast, y'all want to stay out here and talk some trash when we're done going live?
Yes, I just don't know how to do that.
Tyler.
We can do regular FaceTime.
All right, it works.
I'm
I don't want to
fixing to have to get the hay, my friend.
When we do that, I don't want to be live.
Obviously not. All right, that's going to be it for tonight's sitters. Joey Edge along with Jaco and Chris Martinez, and we are Front Porch Sitting. See you next time, sitters.
I'm leaving.